What's going on, guys? My name's Connor, and today I have a review for you guys on the Rolex GMT Master 2 16710. This is the one with the red hand, which I actually prefer over the new one with the green hand, and I'm going to be going over all the specifications of this, as well as if I think it's a good buy or not. Alright, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so just looking at the box, you guys can tell it's just a regular Rolex box and the regular Rolex creamish off-white color. For those of you guys who don't know, Rolex has 4 size boxes: small, medium, large, and extra large, and this looks to be a size large box. Pretty good condition, especially for age. But just sliding off this top part so we can get into the inner box, you guys can see the beautiful green Rolex box, crown pretty much in perfect condition, as well as this frontal part of the outer box. And then just getting past that, you guys can see, get a closer look at how good of condition this box is. Boom. And for those of you guys who want to see all the details, here's the bottom part of it. And then just opening it up, you guys can see that this is the beautiful Rolex GMT Master 2 16710 with a Pvd bracelet. All right, so one of the things that I really appreciate about this purchase, and that some of you guys might not notice, is that this is the original serial tag from when it was first purchased in the early 2000s. It's crazy that this is still sticking with the watch. But you guys can see the original barcode as well as the serial. And then boom, you guys can get a good look at how beautiful this watch is. It's honestly one of my favorites. I honestly prefer it over the new one just because of the red hand rather than the green hand. But unfortunately, I was not able to get the papers that go along with it as I do with most of my watches, because that would just be so much more expensive and so much harder to get. But I bought from a very reputable seller. Shout out to my buddy Ben, who really hooked it up on this one, because these are going between $9,000 and $10,000 ish, and he was able to hook me up with it for about $8,200 ish. So big shout out to him. You're an awesome guy, and I appreciate it. But getting a closer look at this watch, you guys can see that this watch is in very good condition. So I said early 2000s, but I believe it really was from about 2003. Pretty sure that's when it was purchased. And yeah, just get a good look at how good condition just the crystal on this. I'm reflecting it off the fan a little bit so you guys can see that there's not really any scratches on that crystal whatsoever. Let me just show you guys the Pvd bracelet. So for those of you guys who don't really know what Pvd is, it's the equivalent of basically getting a wrap on a car or buying a car with a wrap on it. So no, it does not bring the value down. For those of you guys who might think like, oh, this is an aftermarket bracelet. No, it's not. It's the original bracelet with Pvd added to it. Obviously, if I want to, I can just take it off, or I can have someone else take it off, and it would be the original bracelet. And I kind of appreciate it even more, not just because of the looks, but because it protects the inside. So even if this part looks a little bit scratched up, as you can see, under it is probably in immaculate condition if I were to take it off. And so I think it's honestly a smart move, and I think it looks good at the same time, and it's actually worth more, believe it or not. And so as you guys can see, it has the classic Rolex automatic movement where unlike the Audemars Piguet, you'd be able to see like on the bottom, like it swing back and forth behind the face. You guys would see like it would swing back and forth right here automatically, which would wind it up by itself, but obviously it's not open. But it has about a 48-hour power reserve, just like most other Rolexes, just like the Submariner, just like other GMTs, just like Datejust, and all those, they're all 48-hour power reserve, where it's not where every 48 hours you got to fix the time. It is if you're not wearing it for 48 hours and it doesn't have the ability to wind itself up, it's going to stick at the same time, and you're going to have to wind it about 10 to 15 times, switch the hour back to where you need it, as well as the minute hand, and you'll be good to go. But there's not really any watches that never lose time if they're just sitting on a drawer or a cabinet. And then as I was talking about the crystal and how good of condition it is, the reason why it is in such good condition is because it is a sapphire crystal. So this is strong. Very, very strong. I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but someone cheated on their wives and their wife attempted to break this crystal with the bottom of her heel. She stomped on it as hard as she could multiple times, wasn't able to break through it. And so he walked away with this watch, which is pretty sick. But that just goes to show that the sapphire crystal that they use on these Rolexes is extremely strong. And you guys can just see that there's not really any scratches whatsoever on it. And then you guys can see that this is not like the Submariner where it has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And then the arrow right here, it has the 24-hour display, which is kind of like military time, where if it's gone past 12, you know it's been 13 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours. I think that's really cool, and I think it looks really sick because it kind of feels out the bezel more than a Submariner. So someone who's going for a little bit more simple bezel, they might prefer the Submariner. But me, myself, I prefer the GMT. I just think it looks sick, and I feel like less people have a GMT than people that have a Submariner. And then you guys can see the Cyclops lens, which is going to show the date. Just show you guys that. It is currently the 9th. Forgot. But it is the 9th. And for those of you guys who don't know, this is pre-ceramic. It does not have the ceramic bezel where if you hit it really hard, oh yeah, but for those of you guys who don't know, the ceramic bezel is the newer one that they use on the 116610 and as well as the 116710, which is the newer model of the GMT. This one will scratch a bit easier and it's less durable and a little bit more fragile, but it is made of a aluminum enamel, which is still pretty strong, but compared to the ceramic, not as strong. But this one scratches where the newer one, if you were to hit it hard enough or drop it hard enough, it would crack and it could spread. This one, it just scratches up. People have their opinions. I don't really lean one way or another. If I had to choose, maybe the ceramic, just because it's a little bit shinier and it looks a little bit more modern. But I don't really mind. It's not really a con to me when it comes to this watch. But for those of you guys who are more familiar with the Pepsi, that's what they like to call the Rolex, this one came out at the same time. They have the same ref number, 16710, and those ones are actually going for maybe like $500 to $1,000 more. But I don't really like it that much because it's more of like a collector's piece. Like if you're just wearing an outfit where you're wearing different colors, you got to be worried about the red and the blue going along with your outfit. Whereas this one, this all black watch, what can you not wear it with? If I was just wearing flip-flops and shorts and like a tank top to the beach and I wore this, I mean, it wouldn't look as good as it would in a suit, but it would still go along with it. Now imagine that same outfit with the blue and the red. It would look kind of ridiculous depending on what other colors you're wearing. But I prefer this. I prefer, I honestly like how like the black Submariner looks over the green one. If I was just collecting and I wasn't wearing, then I would go with the green or I would go with the red and the blue when it comes to the GMT. But just keeping it simple and just keeping it wearable for all your daily activities and not having to worry about matching your outfits to your watch, I would go with this as a daily wear. And like I said, it's also a bit more classy. Even if you were to dress it up and you're wearing like a suit, a tie, whatever it might be, this obviously would look very good if you're comparing it to the same one that came out at the same time, but just with the blue and the red. I mean, it probably wouldn't look as formal and as classy. But as I mentioned in the beginning, one of the things that I really like about this as well, that you still don't have to worry about with it matching your outfit, is the red hand. I just hope you guys can notice that little detail, because this is one of the only Rolexes with the red hand on it, and I just think it looks absolutely immaculate with the black bezel, and even better with the black bracelet, with the PVD added to the bracelet. And I just love this watch. I feel like it honestly is one of my favorite watches. And before I forget, you guys can obviously take a closer look and notice the Loom. So the Loom looks like it's still in very good shape. If you go for an older watch that has Loom, it'll be more of a yellow, but this still looks a good whitish cream color, and I've used it in the dark. I don't know if you guys can kind of see when I cover it up. You guys can kind of see the Loom coming out, but it still lights up and it's still very strong. They try to, when they put the Loom, especially on the GMTs and the Submariners, it seems like they put a bit more effort into it and made it a little bit higher quality, because I noticed they really stick with them even longer than they do with some other watches that have Loom. But yeah, as I was saying, this is one of my favorite Rolexes, if not my favorite Rolex, not just for the look, but I just like it because it's not as popular as the Submariner. It's not as recognizable, but it still has the Rolex Bezel on it. It still has the beautiful black color that you can wear with anything, and it's super high quality, and it is just a beautiful watch. And so if you guys are considering getting a GMT or a Submariner, I suggest that you guys just give it a little bit of thought. I actually was considering using this for the video just so I can compare, because these are about the same year. I'll probably do that in a separate video, but you guys can be the judge. Which one do you guys prefer? You guys can let me know down in the comments. Do you guys prefer the older Submariner or the older GMT? I don't know. Looks wise, I would probably go with this, but if I was just looking to sell watches, it seems like obviously the Submariner would sell faster and maybe shoot up in value a lot faster as well. But thank you guys very much for watching. As I said, I appreciate you guys if you guys can just leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys think of this watch and how it compares to other watches. But these videos are not the easiest to get out. If you guys could please just consider liking and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Not everyone at my age especially is just buying and flipping Rolexes, and I'm not making the most money off of them. I'm actually using them specifically for my YouTube. That's like the main purpose, just so I can grow it a little bit more. So if you guys enjoy these videos or find them valuable, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as I said. And just thank you guys so much for supporting. My channel's been doing a lot better lately. My views daily have quadrupled literally in the last month because I've been putting out these Rolex videos and you guys seem to love them. So yeah, I appreciate you guys' support, and I hope to see you guys more on my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video next week.